Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, y'all, welcome and happy Thursday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news and pop culture. Whatever hot topics is going on, we chat about it on this show. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we're going to talk about Melissa Barrera throwing shade at the Scream franchise, the cast, that last movie, and all that other stuff because she's promoting Titanic and all this other stuff. And she got a new gig on top of that. So we'll get into that. Plus, NeNe leaks and Andy Cohen, is the door open with in regards to her coming back? She's speaking on it, wondering whether there's space for her in the Real Housewives universe. Speaking of Housewives, Brandi Glanville throwing shade at LeAnn Rimes because apparently there's rumors floating around that she may be joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills next season. Kim Kardashian is putting her lawyer dreams on pause. So we'll talk about that. Ryan Seacrest got the girls, the other day we talked about Randy Jackson. Now we got to talk about Ryan Seacrest. Then you got the girls gagging because she out here looking gaunt with her cheeks sunken. Miss Thing look like she got AIDS. So we'll talk about that. Cardi B is taking trash. She came back to court because this bitch don't know how to keep a goddamn mouth closed and don't understand that when it come to her, the door is closed. Everybody else can talk about Cardi B, what's going on, but her Magilla Gorilla looking ass can't do it. It ain't computing. So now she just keeps going on and on and on. And Cardi keep having to take her to coins like, bitch, run me my coins. So we got to talk about that. Plus, Dave Chappelle's out here making excuses on his trans jokes, saying people are getting it misconstrued, blaming it on the media. You know how people do when they could dish it, but they can't take it. Plus, a Heroes actress, speaking of Scream, Hayden Panettiere came out as bisexual. She revealed all of this in her new book, among other things, including dating Milo Ventimiglia when he was 30 and she was 19. So we'll get into that. Plus, Mia Starr threw some shade at Jennifer Lopez and it had me cackling. And I was like, you know what? I'm just glad that somebody out here confirmed that lady is evil. Just an insecure, Ursula sounding looking bitch. Because, Ursula ain't got no damn vocals. So we'll get into that. Plus, Hudson Williams, tired of y'all out here trying to ship him and kind of Storrie, even though he said, I got a girlfriend. Stop trying to make this whole fetch thing with us happen. We're characters on the show. We only fucking, fake fucking on the show, not in real life, because I likes the coach. So we got to get into that. Plus, Sam Smith looked like he about to be taken off the market because Mr. Man or Miss They Them announced that they are engaged to be married to their designer significant other. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. You can also hype the channel, share the channel, do all the good stuff to help push it out there and get the algo doing what it needs to be doing. So thank you for your continued support. And let me run over to these comments. Hold on. What's going on? Good morning. We do shows at any time over here. Yep, I know your birthday's tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Chris. You ain't getting no warning of 30 minutes before I go live. I'm here, bitch. Okay. I was like, I'm here. Huh? So I sent you a video. It said a lot of people under 30 are about to think of unaliving themselves due to their only living to work. Late stage capitalism made it where they can't see for look. Well, that's why I say this is crazy. But um, when I was growing up, it was always about you were taught, and this is like Gen X, Boomers. They like teaching all of this is that you gotta grow up and you need to be constantly working and working and working and working and working. It's like we need time for ourselves. It'd be nice if there was a 4-day work week where people got paid a living wage and then a 3-day weekend where it's like I could spend one day cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, all the other stuff. And the other 2 days I spend time just hanging out with friends or just relaxing and do other stuff. If they would do stuff like that, I feel like people would be a lot happier, especially in the United States of America, but they feel like being a workhorse is enough. He said, yeah, I mean, I know it's hard, but people just got to find that balance. That's what I try to do. Um, but and speaking of which, remember yesterday I said, remember the day before yesterday, before I did the Knicks game, I was like, I don't want to. The one thing I don't want to do when I work at the Garden is Celebrity Row, right? Well, guess where they put me yesterday? Like, I wonder if people at my job watch this damn show. Because, bitch, when they said South Catwalk, I gagged. I was like, oh no, I know y'all not putting me on with the celebrities. So I was a little, I was nervous. I was like, let me not fuck this up. But it turned out better than I expected it. And it was a lot of celebrities in my row. I had Timothy Chalamet, I had Kylie Jenner. So yeah, I seen him up close. Who else? Spike Lee, of course, in his usual spot. Ben Stiller was there. Um, Matt Dillon. Then LeAnn too. Child, he walked right past me. I was like, oh, we the same height. I'm a lot taller than I sometimes I put in my own head. And I thought I would be like Timothy would be taller than me or shorter than me, but no, we the same height. So I was a little shocked, but you know what? It was good. Oh, and Jordan Woods was there. BB Rexa was there. I had that one that tried to beat Zoran Mamdani, couldn't even say his damn name. Well, Andrew Cuomo was in my section too. He was in one of the suites literally across from where I was at. So yeah, I had to see him. But he was there as a guest. So there was that. I'm like, y'all voted for Zoran. I just kept it moving. But anyway, so that was my experience. Even look, I even got the whole still with me, just so y'all know I don't be lying. This is my VIP location. I ain't gonna show you. I ain't gonna look sheet right here. And I got my Madison Square Garden sheet with the pictures and everything up in here. I'm gonna just flash it to y'all. I ain't gonna show y'all who was actually in there. But see, you see some of them here. Wait, hold on. There and there. Oh, that's back upside down. So you see some of the celebrities. You see some of the exec. You see all the people up in there. So there was that. There was like, in case you need faces with the names or whatever. I was like, child, just let me show me who the peoples are, where they need to go, and I'll get them where they need to go. So there was that. So that's my experience dealing with the fame. Must. But anyway, never mind all that. Let's get into the show because and let me hit my banner because I got a meeting to go to right after this, so I got to jet into the city. That's why I'm doing this early because I got to go and we got to vote on our new contract at MSG. So I was like, let me give y'all early show. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about Melissa Barrera. So, Melissa Barrera did an interview with Variety, and she opened up about her true thoughts on her being fired from Scream 7, because, currently she's on Broadway in Titanic. And she had a lot to say, and I'm gonna go through it. I'm not gonna go through the full article. Actually, what I did was because I was like, let me I took the article, the full Variety article, and I put it in the description. So if y'all want to go and read the article in full, you could just go into on the YouTube channel. You can go into the description, click on it, open it, read the whole thing. Because she goes in depth with a lot of stuff. But I'm gonna just give y'all the highlights on what she has said and where I agree and disagree with her on some stuff. So let's go through the story. So the actress threw some shade at a Scream 7 cast after she was fired from the film for her support of Palestine. A Variety interviewer asked the actress if she thought it was scabby that previous cast members from the franchise returned for the latest film after her firing. She said, oh, 100%. I think they all are, and they have to live with that. Barrera 35 added the only way they were able to make that movie after what happened was to nostalgia bait as much as possible. So right there, I want to answer because I'm going to probably stop and start and give my opinion because I don't want to forget it. So where she said that was it scabby for people to return, meaning are you throwing shade at Nev Campbell and Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Gooding? Here's the thing I'm gonna say on that, and this is where I disagree with her. First of all, you're saying that they're scabby for coming back to a franchise. Number one, Sydney Prescott was always part of the franchise. Yes, she has been milked for so damn long, where they made it where she has to be in every freaking movie instead of just taking each Scream film, surrounding it with a new cast. You have a final girl, and then you just have the whole Scooby Doo mystery, which I think would have been really interesting if they could have continued that. Like, gave Sydney her trilogy with Scream 1, 2, and 3. After that, 4, 5, and 6 could have been a whole new cast. 7, 8, 9 could have been a whole new If they could do like a series of each trilogy tells a different story with a different cast and we move on, I think that would have made the Scream franchise really interesting. But y'all pretty much have backed yourself in a corner where everybody wants to see Nev Campbell in every movie. And I like Nev Campbell, but if there's no story there for her character to continue, then we need to stretch and move on and try different things. That's why I find it annoying that people are bitching about this new Resident Evil movie, because it's not like the games. It's not like this. I'm like, tone wise, atmosphere wise, all of that stuff definitely feels like what it is to be in a survival game like Resident Evil. So I'm not mad at Zach Cregger for what he's doing with that. Same thing with people complaining about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, because the director says he's a fan, but he don't just want to see Leatherface run around with a chainsaw chasing people. We've seen that countless times in different movies. But if somebody has a different story to tell within that world that's going to be interesting and elevate the franchise, then I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. And we have to learn to be okay with taking risks. If they fail, then to go back to the thing that they did before or try something different. But if it works, we got to be open to like trying different things. So for her to sit and so that was where I'm at on the whole experimentation with trying to rejuvenate Scream. As far as like what she said about the cast, Nev Campbell coming back, yeah, even though I said what I said before about all of that, there was a lot of nostalgia bait used to get butts in seats because they got rid of Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega didn't come back and all that other stuff. Jasmine Savoy Brown being a queer woman of color, being in a movie where she actually gets a meaty role, whatever, even though she didn't really have that much to do, but she was a standout in Scream 7. When there's not many opportunities, especially for people of color in film, I'm not going to be mad if they just like, you know what, I'm gonna put my head down, I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna go and do whatever I got to do. Also, Melissa, you was the one that said what you said about Palestine, and while I agree with you on what you were saying and calling out this genocide from Israel and stuff, if you want to go and be political in your stuff, go ahead and do that. You have a right to speak on what you have to speak on as an American citizen. We have freedom of speech, but you also got to realize that, I don't know, maybe in the contracts over there at Spyglass they said that you can't be getting political with saying certain things, or maybe what the problem is they love cracking down on women, while men like Javier Bardem, which he does speak on in the interview, are able to just say things and go unscathed with giving their political opinionations. Well, that's a word, I just made it up. Giving their political opinions on certain situations. And I'm all for people who want to speak out. And it she got bad that people were speaking in like behind the scenes where they were sending her little messages of support. But she's like, but they didn't come and say it out loud and show that they were in solidarity with what I had to say. A lot of these celebrities, they run around being scared. Maybe you're somebody who's just fearless, and very few people out here are fearless, and fearless people walk alone in the world. And then it takes a while for the rest of the herd to catch up. So while I'm here for you speaking your mind and giving your opinion and speaking out against a genocide created by, done by Israel on brown folks over in Palestine, and them using our taxpaying dollars to help them funnel these unnecessary wars and this, that, and the third. Um, you got to realize that, okay, this was your situation. You made your bed, you lied. And that's like if I say or do something crazy and they reprimand me for it, I'm not going to blame, oh, well, why the rest of y'all at the job didn't stick up for me. Like, that sounds stupid. That you would think oh, so nobody's got to show up in the movie because they fired you? And like I said before, with Mesa Gooding and Jasmine Savoy Brown, they're two actors of color. There's not many opportunities for a lot of actors of color to get into those mainstream crossover films. So yeah, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna go about my business. I'm not taking your stance because that's where you lean. Maybe I do lean on that in private, but not everybody is built to run around being, fist in the air, ungawa, equality and all that other shit. Not everybody's built for that. Like, I'll speak on some stuff because I'm opinionated and I got a mouth, but I don't expect everybody to follow what I do. Now, if I inspire you and I empower you, then that's great. So, but yeah, but the whole nostalgia debate, I do agree with her on that, where she said that they nostalgia baited the hell out of the movie, which I said that in the beginning. The minute they started announcing, oh well, they're bringing back characters that were dead, and you were bringing back Matthew Lillard's gonna be in it, and all the other characters. The only one they kept secret was Laurie Metcalf, and even her little scene that they put in there was ass. And we saw that little montage. It was hot garbage the way they put that together. So, and that was part of the third act. So I do agree, like the nostalgia bait pissed me off, and the movie was not that good, in my opinion, because their back was against the wall. But that's their fault, because if y'all had a story and you had an idea and that's something you were going to go with, then you shouldn't have reacted the way you reacted, and you would have had your other cast come back. And so she also said that she do not believe that what the movie grossed was the actual number. She's saying that they lied about the numbers. So she said, yeah, I think they lied about the numbers. I don't think it made that much money, which I should say globally, this was the biggest Scream 7, even though it wasn't a good movie, especially that third act was straight up shit on a stick. It grossed $215 million worldwide. So um, I do believe it made that amount of money. I don't think they're gonna lie and cook the books on the fact of saying that Scream 7 didn't make $215 million. Why would they need to lie? First of all, we got accountants, we got people who follow all of that stuff, Luminate and all that. They follow all these numbers and stuff. So they're not just gonna pull a number and be like, well, Paramount, I'm gonna slip you a couple 100,000 if you sit and say that we, you know, made this amount of money. They're not going to do that. So I do agree. I feel like she's bitter. She's hating in that whole aspect. And you got a reason to feel how you feel because of how you were treated and what you went through. 10 months without a job before, the director of that movie, We Love Boosters, was the one, the new Kiki Palmer movie they have coming out. She was supposed to be in that. And she said that he was the director. I think his name was Boots Riley. The director hit her up and was like, offered her a role in the movie. Unfortunately, she had to turn it down because then she ended up getting the Copenhagen test, that show over there on Peacock that nobody watched, with Simu Liu. But that was a longer shoot, and she said that she could make more money doing the TV show versus, because it was 10 episodes, I think, versus the one check for the movie. So that was smart on her part. She got her little coins, and now she has another movie coming up, which we'll get into in a second. So then, uh, as y'all know, they said Barrera was fired from Scream 7 in November 2023 after she posted certain sentiments about the Israel-Hamas war, which the studio characterized as anti-Semitic, which nothing she said was anti-Semitic, calling out what Israel was doing to Palestine and been wanting to do it for a long time. Remember, Biden started it, Trump finished it, but when you have Miriam Adelson that was giving them a whole bunch of money so that way they could occupy the West Bank and all these other things, and these are facts. This is actual news, even though the mainstream news is not going to tell you about it. Um, when you want to call it out, now people want to call it anti-Semitic, criticizing you for killing hundreds of thousands, or maybe I should say even millions of people whose land it belongs to them because y'all want to colonize land that don't belong to you, is not anti-Semitic. It's calling you out for being a bunch of genocidal maniacs. And you're not beyond reproach. No one is. So then they talk about General Ortega dropping out of the film, which Ortega later said had nothing to do with the pay or scheduling and was all kind of falling apart. But Barrera insinuated that Ortega's move wasn't a show of support, telling Variety that's not the reality of things. So now I'm wondering what her saying now. I'm like, you throwing shade at Jenna too? Like, I was kind of confused because she didn't really elaborate on that, or the article didn't necessarily elaborate on that. And then she explained that while she got some messages of support from people in the industry after her firing, there was no action taken. She said, "I had faith. I was like, someone is going to reach out to me and help me. It's just a matter of time." She had said, while admitting she went through 10 torturous months of uncertainty and no work and suffering after she was axed in the film. But Barrera says she still feels the love from the Scream fans who come to see her in Titanic on Broadway. She said, at the stage door, I sign Scream things every night. People who love me for those movies are coming to see the show, and they can't ever take that away from me. Now, she also previously told Collider that she feels she's gotten closure with her exit from the franchise. She said, I feel good. I did what I set out to do. It was always meant to be two movies for me because That was my contract. And so everything is perfect. And I'm kind of confused because you said if it was two movies for them, then why are you complaining about the fact that they got rid of you for the third one? So were you ever planning on coming back? I'm still confused about that whole situation. Was there a two-movie deal, and because the second movie did so well, you were going to come back and negotiate for a third film? And then it fell through because apparently you said what you said in regards of Palestine and that sort of thing. So I'm wondering if that's what that was. But one of the things I don't like about this whole situation, because when Melissa went and made the comment about, well, I don't think the Scream movie made that much money, whatever. It ignites that certain group of we hate Scream fans, the fandom that are very, I'm pro Melissa Barrera, which you have a right to be, where they're going to come up in there and say, see, she said that this movie didn't do all that well, so it didn't. And y'all going to run with that because we already had the people like when the movie came out, the protesters, people over here trying to spoil the movie online. We know the online trolls, or the fact that when there were reviewers that were talking about the movie, like YouTube pundits or whatever the case is, they would jump online and start with the harassment and all of stuff. So they're going to ignite a certain type of trolls. They're going to say what they said. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that she said what she said. We can finally put this thing behind her. We can all move on. And now we can just hope with Scream 8 that the script will be way better than Scream Damn 7. Because I don't know what the hell that script was and what the hell that movie was. And that third act was straight up ass. Now, speaking of Melissa, I guess we can give a shout out to her because she got a new gig coming. So it's like after the 10 months, maybe this tide is turning because the industry, well, people are speaking out more about Palestine. I guess maybe it's cool to say free Palestine and stuff now, so it's not as it's not causing such a negative connotation on people. But she got another horror movie she about to jump into. So shout out to Blood. What was it? I think it was Variety that reported this via Bloody Disgusting had it. So she's about to start in a movie called Inhabit, written who wrote and directed it. That will be writing and directing it. It's from Adam Alaka, I think is how you say his last name. And he wrote the 2009 remake of Wes Craven's The Last House on the Left. And they said it features psychological horror with relentless supernatural dread, as well as a chilling exploration of trauma, motherhood, and the responsibility of unfathomable power. The film follows a young woman who, following a traumatic life changing event, moves into a rundown apartment complex in search of a fresh start. When she's terrorized by bizarre occurrences, unhinged neighbors, uncanny stalkers, unprovoked violence, she comes to believe she is being targeted by a possessive force that breaks her understanding of reality, a force that can only be overcome by confronting the darkest parts of her own nature. And but according to the director, he said the following. He said, true horror means forcing the audience to confront a universal existential fear no one's ever dared to tell a story about before. I found such a fear in an Inhabit. My inspirations are the kind of audacious, character-driven thrillers I love, like Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, and Get Out. Their innovation is my North Star. Now, with Inhabit, Adam has crafted a story that can shatter open the conversation on a subject often considered taboo. So it is about abortion. And then some supernatural things are going to occur because they talking about taboos and things. So be interested in wanting to check out this movie. Here's the thing: I like Melissa Barrera. I was out here, and I don't care. I'm gonna keep repeating it until I get tired of repeating it. I was literally out there supporting her when she did this movie right here, Abigail. You see the picture in the corner. When she did Abigail, I went to the movies and I saw it. A lot of y'all didn't go see it, but so which makes me feel like this is some Matrix versus real world type ish, where a lot of people are being performative, where they try to make it seem like, oh yeah, we love Melissa, we support Melissa, Team Melissa, fuck Scream. And then when her movies was coming out, y'all wasn't there opening night. But when Scream came out, the shit was packed. And I'm not saying that that makes it right. It just shows, like, based off the numbers and the reactions and stuff, that a lot of y'all make all this noise on social media, but when it's really time to walk the walk and do the supporting of these artists that y'all claim that y'all support, the proof is in the coin and the pudding. And then I be hearing them crickets. And that's what I heard with Abigail. Even though Abigail was a good movie, it was Cricket Central. So shout out to you, Melissa. I'm glad that your career is getting back on track. It'll be interesting to see, like, are you gonna stay with Titanic and or take a temporary break and then go shoot the film and come back? Or so I guess they'll have to figure that whole up thing out when it comes to her schedule. But anyway, I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Melissa Barrera speaking out on the whole Scream debacle and stuff? Do you agree with her? There's some things you agree with, some things you don't agree with. Whatever your thoughts on the matter, let me know in the comments down below. So let me close some of these windows. Oh, wait, I forgot I gotta open this window. Speaking of which, because I gotta read your comments. To be honest, the girl from the devil. Oh, you said the girl from the Evil Dead looks just like her. Just throw her in a Scream film. You wouldn't even. I like Scream for Emma Roberts did her big one. Yeah, she was a good. She was a good villain. I don't know why I repeated either, but here we are. Melissa is heated as hell. She must got her few roles coming out. Well, yeah, she definitely got a few roles coming out. That's probably why she talking. Damn, I thought Jenna dropped out because of Melissa. Jenna said, "Girl, you ain't that important." Mhm. Oh my. No. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. And let's talk about Lanithia Monique Leaks, who's speaking out on Real Housewives of Atlanta and what's going on with the show and everything over there and her and Andy's relationship. So yeah. So it looks like the door might be open for Miss NeNe Leaks. Because remember what that once upon a time she said the door is closed. Well, I guess she probably worked things out, which I found weird because I'm like, why? And somebody said this in the comments too, and that's why I'm gonna read some of them comments over there on the Jasmine brand where I saw this video where it was about. I just don't understand NeNe trying to come back to a franchise that you accuse people of racism and all kind of discrimination and things, but anyway, so NeNe Leakes is ready to move forward with the 2022 lawsuit that nearly derailed her relationship with Andy Cohen and executives at Bravo, and it appears the feeling may be mutual. Leakes, who is set to appear in the upcoming The Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th, a newly announced Bravo spinoff slated for a 2026 debut, shared in an interview with Vulture that she hasn't spoken to Cohen since filing the lawsuit against Bravo and its producers alleging a hostile and racist work environment. The case was dropped later that same year. Now, according to leaks, reconnecting is ultimately Cohen's decision as she has already moved on emotionally. She said, I guess the question would be what would it take to get him back on those terms? The Bravo celebrity told Vulture on Tuesday. I'm the kind of person that good or bad time heals. You don't have to be besties or anything like that, but I move forward. I'm not into holding negative energy. Well, she said what she said, and she said, and I ain't changing it. And I guess Andy Cohen's feeling away and holding a grudge, and he's not interested in reconciling. So now her remarks, came just one day after Cohen spoke with Vulture on May 4th. May the 4th be with you, offering his own perspective on their current dynamic. While he declined to discuss specifics of the legal situation. Wait, is this still ongoing? Because you're talking about specifics of the legal situation. They say he made it clear that the lawsuit is firmly behind them, telling the outlet that it was in the past. Well, it's funny how you can tell this to them, but not to her. So, in a prior interview with Bossa, Leaks noted that her relationship with NBC Universal had improved, pointing her to her continued appearances, hosting red carpet events for NBC as evidence of renewed goodwill. And Wasn't there a rumor that she was supposed to do the last season of The Traitors? But I think because her son got sick, she had to drop out. So if they do the upcoming season of The Traitors, maybe NeNe can get on that one. Now, Cohen also opened up about filming alongside leaks for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Roaring 20th special, reflecting on the anniversary project. Cohen said it wouldn't feel complete without Leaks' involvement, saying, as we look back on 20 years, it felt like doing something with her would be really nice for the fans, and she really wanted to do it. This is what he told Vulture, describing her comeback on the show as very positive. So he's willing to put bygones aside or negative feelings or whatever aside because he's like, it's for the fans. How noble of you, sir. Now, as one of the original cast members of RHOA, Leaks played a pivotal role in shaping the franchise. Cohen acknowledged the legacy, calling her integral to the show and its success. Notably, when asked if Leaks could return to RHOA now that she's back in the Bravo universe, Cohen kept things bummed. He said, you know what? We worked so hard to get a cast on Atlanta that is cohesive and makes sense and that we love and the fans love. This is what he told the outlet. We want to be at the level that Atlanta used to be, and we are finally there. Well, you saying that sounds a little shady. It sounds like the door is basically closed, that you're not interested in having NeNe on The Housewives. Especially, look, she fucked herself when she closed that damn laptop. Remember during the COVID season when they all had to do stuff from the Zoom? They had to do the Zoom reunion, and she gave all this attitude and didn't want to be confronted on nothing. And so I'm like, sis, as somebody who claimed that they started the reunions, you know how the reunions work. And I feel like you got too big for your britches, and then you thought you was bigger than the show. And if you were that smart, you would have known how to parlay your popularity from the Housewives into other things outside of being Ryan Murphy's little muse, his black equivalent of Amanda Lepore. Like you could have been given a whole lot more to your career than just, oh, I did the new normal and I did Glee and this, that, and the other. You should have been trying to occupy and do other things. You should have had like a low reality spinoff that was following your careers, like trying to navigate as an actor or whatever, and take it. NeNe Goes Hollywood or something. You could have tried to negotiate that show or try to work on a talk show or try to do any of the other things. There should have been other things that you should have been using based off of your personality and everything to make your own little situation. But you wasn't doing that. You thought you was, like I said, too big for the situation. So now Leaks was asked if she would ever make a comeback to the show. And what she said was, they said she was also asked if she would ever make a ROH. I feel like they repeated themselves because it said NeNe Leakes was asked if she would ever make a RHOA comeback. Here's what she had to say. They didn't write what she had to say. Then they said Leakes was also asked if she would ever make a RHOA comeback, and her answer was interesting. So I think they probably wrote the same thing twice and then proofread before they edited one of them out. Look at me correcting people's articles going through it. I should have been an editor. Realistically speaking, if there's a space for me on Housewives, I was married, and everyone knows my husband passed away. My youngest son has had a heart transplant, and he's now a first-time dad. My oldest son's Brent. I mean, wait, the youngest son is out here with a kid. NeNe, your whole family's a hot ass mess. Um, my youngest son has a heart transplant and he's now a first time dad. My oldest son's daughter is now a teenager. We used to live in a mansion in a suburb. I now live in a high rise in the city. I date an African guy. Ultimately, if it's meant to be, it will happen. The reality TV star shared. If they wanted there to be a place for me, there will be a place because it's not like my story is any less interesting than it was then. It's probably even more interesting. Well, it sounds like your life was interesting. You could have incorporated like your grandkids, your family, all these other things going on, and your new African man and your high rise apartment. That would have been cute. Maybe what you need to do if Bravo's not giving you the time of day is go over there and hit up E. E done gave the original Real Housewives of New York girls their own show. Speaking of which, one of them was at the Knicks game yesterday in my section, Kelly Ben Simone. And I spoke to her briefly. She asked me a question about one of the suites or whatever. And she looks good up close. Um, so Maybe that's what you need to do. If Bravo's not gonna give you the time of day, at least try to see if you got something interesting to go around. Film, like, go guerrilla style. Have some people, get some cameras, film a pilot, shop it around and edit it together, whatever. Shop it around to other networks and see if they're interested. Why are you sitting there holding out on a network that won't give you the time of damn day? Now, speaking of that, I wanted to come over to. Oh wait, then she also said, even before these interviews, there were signs that the relationship between Leaks and Bravo had begun to thaw. Back in January, she shared her excitement on IG after reports confirmed her participation in the Girls Trip show. She said, "I'm overjoyed. I almost can't even believe that the words that are coming out of my mouth, blah blah blah, so on and so forth." And then it goes on to some other stuff, which I don't give a good goddamn about. But what I want to do is go over to these comments and see what the people were saying over there at Jasmine Brand, because y'all had me cackling. So let's see what the people saying about what NeNe said in regards to, do y'all care? One person said, "Please get over Housewives and move on. I wouldn't dare be begging for this many years to come back." Hello, where's your dignity, daughter? Where's your dignity? Well, actually, you older than me, so you would be auntie. Now, they said NeNe got bigger than the assignment when she was on RHOA. Absolutely. Another person said, "I don't know who and where y'all came from, but if you sue a company stating racism slash discrimination slash president prejudice slash your boss is a cokehead." Her words, not mine. I don't know if they would take you back like, hello, IDGAF, how bad y'all want her back? Do y'all remember what the fuck she said was going on at Bravo TV? And they added them too. Ooh, y'all shady. Another person said, Andy said no, they don't trust her, and I don't blame him. Another person said, the door is closed. Another person says she missed the Bravo checks. The show needs to move forward, not backward. Guaranteed, if they let NeNe back in, she's gonna go back to acting how she did in her last two seasons on the show. In season 10, RHOA brought back NeNe, Sheree, and Kim, hoping to recapture what they had back in the early days, and that was a dramatic failure. They brought back Phaedra, hoping to reignite the magic. That was frickin' frack. That's not happening. There's Phaedra and there's Portia, but no trace of frickin' frack anywhere. My point is, the past is the past. You can't recapture it, and it's best to keep moving forward. I actually agree with that. Like, if there's no way that you can actually recapture the magic that once was, sometimes that's some lightning in the bottle type ish. And it's like, you can't, if you can't recapture what was, and I know they try so many times to actually reheat them nachos for y'all's sake. But then they realized that, you know what? Since that time of when we were freaking fragging, we were thick as thieves of this moments was having this moment, this chemistry was this chemistry. We've all evolved and grown. And a lot can change in a year. A lot can happen in a year. So then they realized, okay, this is not working no more. So they tried that already. Meaning they gave you a chance before when you were off the show and then they brought you back. And then they saw how you was acting. So in a way, from what I'm hearing so far, because I haven't watched this new season of The Housewives, but the addition of K. Michelle and some of the other new ladies on there, people are saying that they like to see this season so far. So I don't think they need Miss Lanithia. She just need to find a way to get herself back on TV and maybe in a form of a new show. But in regards of RHOA, sis, that ship has sailed. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see NeNe come back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Or do you feel that, yeah, ma'am, it's just time to move on and find something else to do? Find a new way to get yourself back on TV if you're that hard up to getting back on the television. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Let's see. Let's get some of these comments up in here. If NeNe had become an egomaniac, do you think she would still be on the show, or would they have phased her out? I feel like, honestly, I feel like, especially with the way these last couple of seasons has been going, I do feel like that it was only a matter of time before she would have been phased out. I definitely feel that. And you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. I do feel like this is the death of reality TV. There's so many reality shows where I feel like, and it's not even that. I feel like I've outgrown it. I've outgrown those forms of reality TV. I don't watch none of that Zeus-ish. People be telling me about baddies, and I'm like, y'all still on that crap? And then it just came out there was like Blueface admitted that the whole family drama, whatever, all that stuff that he was doing with Krishan, he said he did all that for the money. It's all fake. And I said, I could have told you that. Like, y'all sit up in here and buy all this buffoonery that y'all seeing on TV. It's performative. They're putting on airs, but nobody wants to hear it. Y'all look us up at face value and think it's the truth. I know how reality TV works. So, but yeah, I do agree with you. I feel like this is death of reality TV. There's so much drama with their hosts and people quitting, and then you have Zeus that's just world star with a bigger production. And then I'm seeing like video of like I think it was the Bad Boys, whatever. One of the guys got knocked out. I said it's gonna get to a point where somebody literally has to die on that damn show for that whole empire of Lemmys to crumble. Because this is what y'all got people out here thinking, that you have to go and beat people up or do all kinds of crazy, cause physical harm to people on camera in order to get some type of be noticed. And it's sad. And I hate Divas chair. He said someone said Paramount might be taking Melissa to court over the lies of Scream. Oh, please. So now they're gonna sue over her giving an opinion on. I don't think the movie made that money. All y'all got to do is put out a tweet, putting up the receipts, and that'll shut her up and her hating ass fans. That's all you got to do. It's like, oh, I'm going to take you to court, but it's definitely given because the Ellisons are buddy buddy with Trump, so that sound like, oh, let's pull a Trump. Now my camera want to start moving around and acting a damn fool. Hold on. Yeah, so now it's gonna be doing that. Where where they want to act like that. Trashy cans to pay. Yeah. That is one of the topics that we're gonna be talking about. Trashy K don't know how to keep her goddamn big ass mouth closed. I think she borderline retarded at this point. Anyway, let's get back into the show. We got more Housewives news, so let's take a trip from Atlanta to Beverly Hills because Brandi Glanville out here throwing shade at LeAnn Rimes because apparently there's a rumor swirling that LeAnn Rimes. Well, I think the Housewives of Beverly Hills just wrapped. I'm still trying to get through it because the first half of this season is boring, but I did hear that it picks up. I don't like that new girl that's on there. I think she's a friend of Kyle's. She got to go. And I'm so sick of this whole awkwardness between Kyle and Mauricio. It's like she's still trying to get that man back. That man done moved on. He's going through his midlife crisis. He wants to be out here hunching a bunch of 20-year-olds. So, and she like, well, I wish that Mo would stop flaunting his relationships on social media. I'm like, girl, that's what the dumbass man does. And then he gets up in there, oh, well, I thought it was private because you're making out with a girl at the airport. You're making out with a girl out in public spaces. When you're outside in public, people are going to capture the picture and post it on the tabloids. That's how this works. You've been around these celebrities and being married to Kyle Richards long enough to know how this shit works. I hate when people try to play obtuse like we all dumb. You know what you're doing, sir. So, and then, Dorit going on her mess with PK and Erica with her shade and Sutton being a psycho embarrassed. I can't believe this lady a Virgo because I'm like, we don't act like that. She does, but I don't be acting like her. But anyway, so to get into this story, apparently rumors were swirling that LeAnn Rimes is going to be on the upcoming season, the next season of The Housewives of Beverly Hills. And of course, it didn't take long for um Brandi to come out and say what she had to say. First of all, I had to pick a nice picture of Brandi because if y'all see what she looked like today, y'all will gag. You think that picture that I'm going to show you later on Ryan Seacrest is bad. If you see how she out here looking, y'all go, ooh, Harpo, who that lady? So I was like, let me be nice and find one where she got a lot of filler in the face. Because, child, if I would have showed her the sunken, the fake, let me just move on. So, Glanville shaded Rhymes with a nasty message amid rumors that the country star might be joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She said, I hope it's true about RHOBH. I mean, she got everything else of mine: husband, kids, boobs, Bronco, random illnesses. She might as well just be a housewife and finish it off once and for all. The Bravo celebrity tweeted on Wednesday. Now, as for if there's any truth to the casting rumors, a source exclusively tells Page Six LeAnn's name has not been mentioned for RHOBH. It doesn't seem like this will change. Well, that's fine because I'm like, what possibly could she have in common with the rest of these Beverly Hills housewives? And on top of that, I don't think 15 years, and yeah, they've been married 15 years, her and Eddie Cibrian. So as much as y'all be saying like y'all in love or whatever the case is, because y'all did that little Hallmark movie, I don't think you want us to see what's going on in your little personal life and having all that exposed for reality TV cameras. So I don't think she's going to be up in there. But anyway, so Rhymes of Glanville, who starred on the Bravo series from 2011 to 2015, has a long history that dates back to 2008 when the Blue crooner began dating Glanville's then husband Eddie Cibrian while filming the it was Lifetime movie Northern Lights. Now Glanville separated from Cibrian following the allegation that and the revelation that he also cheated with future Vanderpump Rules star Sheena Shea. Additionally, Cibrian denied the claims, but in July of 2009, both Rhymes and Cibrian separated from their partners. Cibrian and Glanville's divorce finalized in 2010, the same year that Rhymes and her then husband, Dean Sharamet, also sought a divorce. First of all, whenever I looked at LeAnn's husband, I thought he was a member of the Levitical plus community because he was giving gay face. But I mean, who knows? He might be a homosexual now, or maybe my gaydar is off. But that's what I gave when I looked at her. I mean, him. Now in December 2010, Rhymes and Cibrian got engaged. They tied the knot on April 22nd, 2011. Rhymes celebrated her 15th wedding anniversary with a special tribute via Instagram, saying, 15 years of loving you, 15 years of making memories. Your love is such a gift. And with all that's taken place this year, I have new vows in girl, not you revealing your perimenopause. Um, and in health, with teeth and without, she wrote in her post showcasing highlights from their recent vacation. Now, in 2011, Sabrina and Rhymes were married, with the country singer admitting to and justifying the affair to Robin Roberts, saying it happens every day to so many people. And if I take away my album sales, my words, and you have just another couple, you have two couples whose marriages didn't work, who really stumbled upon each other and fell in love. Well, I understand the whole like y'all both not happy in your relationships and y'all just came together on the set of this movie and y'all had, common ground in a whole bunch of ways. I mean, but then either your marriage will last the test of time with that risk, or you end up like Brad and Angelina, you know, still fighting over that goddamn winery after all these years and the kids hating you. So I'm glad your marriage works, even though I don't agree with extramarital affairs, or maybe they were just too pussy to be honest about the fact that they were in unhappy marriages and he didn't particularly care for Brandi and LeAnn didn't care for Dean. But I don't think she should only be coming at LeAnn in this whole situation because it takes two to tango. It takes two to have an affair. So be just as mad at Eddie as you are at her. But it's easier for people to go in, especially women, to go at other women for the infidelity instead of calling out the men as well. Let's keep it on equal footing. So Glanville, as you know, hasn't shied away from sharing her true feelings about her ex's affair and ensuing relationship with Rhymes, previously admitting that she threatened to unalive Rhymes when she found out about she used the M word, child, about her and Cibrian's relationship. Now, most recently in April, she questioned the motive behind Rhymes' viral video undergoing deep jaw release therapy. Maybe she be sucking that dick to her. You know how them Cubans are when it comes to the sex. Um, so maybe she get lockjaw when she be down there going downtown for a long time. So Glanville said that she has undergone a procedure a million times to address her TMJ, a disorder that can cause pain in the jaw joint and in the muscles that control jaw movement, and acknowledge that it is very painful. She said, I just don't know why you share that. So am I wondering, is she trying to say that she feels like LeAnn is trying to compete with her in a lot of ways? Because she's like, well, everything I'm doing, she ends up doing and wanting to jump into. Who knows? And at this point, who cares? But um if LeAnn joins the Housewives of Beverly Hills, okay, we'll just see how she fits in. Or she would be a friend of, but they said she's not gonna be a part of the show. So she ain't a part of the show. It is what it is. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Brandi Glanville throwing shade at her kid stepmother? I was like, what do we call her? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. I was like, wait, am I forgetting something? Yeah, to take that damn lower third out. All right, y'all. So now let's move on and let's talk about Kim Kardashian. So Kim has put the little law situation on hold. I think they're saying that she's gonna take the California bar. She's currently putting that on hold. Somebody said to me that they thought that she already took it. I was like, I don't know. I don't be following her like that. Although I did see her sister yesterday, Kylie Jenner. She was sitting courtside with Timothy Chalamet. Um, Celebrity Row, which is the double A section of Madison Square Garden. But anyway, let's get into the tea. So, Kim Kardashian will not take the California bar exam in 2026, postponing her next attempt till at least 2027 after failing the test last year. The reality star and business mogul had previously vowed to retake the exam promptly, but sources say she skipped both early and mid-year sittings this year. The move marks a shift in her public legal ambitions, excuse me, which began in 2018 alongside her advocacy for prison reform. Now, sources told TMZ that Kim did not sit for any California bar exam sessions in 2026 and will delay her next attempt until at least 2027. Um, Falling short is a failure. She said, it's fuel. I was so close to passing the exam, and that only motivates me even more. So I'm starting to think at this point, says, why don't you just give it up? And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying it's like you're trying to follow in your father Rob's footsteps and do the whole lawyer thing. Your father had to before he was people even knew who he was, and he did that high profile OJ trial and all the others, being on the legal team. He worked his behind to get to that point. You're someone who is would be seen as a nepo baby who got famous from a sex tape, who went into the reality show, who became like this global phenomenon in regards of being a businesswoman, an influencer, reality show, you know, icon, whatever you want to call it. Say what you want to say about Kim, but those are the realities, and that's the truth in regards of what she's been able to parlay from getting her cheeks clapped by Ray J and parlaying that into a big reality empire while he's around here being bitter and talking about the thousands of women he done hunched. So he says, I ain't buying it, but whatever. Um, because there ain't no way in hell you out here fucking more than actual porn stars. So with that all being said, I understand that, what, she has a passion in prison reform and doing these other things. Why don't she get into more or less activism and using her cachet as Kim Kardashian to help get policies changed? These days, y'all don't even like listening to politicians in regard to getting things moved and changed and all this other stuff. Y'all basically rely on celebrities to do the work. Hence, why y'all went and well, a lot of y'all, not me, when voted for a damn reality TV star to be the goddamn president, and he turns out to be the most incompetent, moronic piece of shit to ever run in the Oval Office. But got the nerve to post videos about Sleepy Joe when we've seen you sleeping in the White House in that damn chair because your ankles are so damn fat that you can't even stand up on your own. So this is what happens, but I don't see Kim being in that way of like with her wanting to jump on the policies and helping people get out of prison who may be in there for the wrong reasons or been given harsher sentences or whatever the case is. I definitely feel if she decided to do that and put it to work, whether or not it's performative, I don't know. I don't know what's inside her heart or her brain. But if she has the wherewithal to want to help out and do that and stuff, why not? So I don't know because if you're so busy with raising four children, with the help of nannies and your reality TV aspirations, being a businesswoman, all that stuff, if that's overtaking what it is that you're doing, and you can't fully focus on studying to take the bar and wanting to get in the law, then I just think that maybe the other way of using your influence and your power as a celebrity to help move policies and get things done might be the better route. Because as like they were saying here, balance of law, business, and fame. And so while her legal ambitions are on hold, she remains active on other ventures, including running her multi-billion-dollar Skim shapewear brand, filming her reality series, and making high-profile appearances such as the Met Gala. She has also taken on acting roles. This balancing act highlights the tension between her entertainment career and the demands of preparing for the bar exam. And so, like I said, if you're doing all these other things, there's no way that you can commit full time to wanting to get in the law because law is not just something that you could just do for 5 minutes and then call it a day. Like that's literally a full time commitment if you're going to be going to taking classes, studying, all that stuff, and there ain't enough hours in the day that you could put to the side with dealing making decisions on your skin brand, dealing with whatever issues that north, south, east, and west got going on, and whether or not you're going to take on that next Ryan Murphy role or produce this project or work on this project or star in this project, it's taking up a lot of your time. So if you can't commit to the thing, it's best to just maybe do charity or take this on as a hobby. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that Kim is in over her head in regards to her lawyer dreams? Because it's like, yeah, they always say that women can do it all. No, the fuck y'all can't. I don't, in reality, nobody can do it all. There's just some things that's going to have to come with sacrifice, especially if this is something you're passionate about. You're going to have to sacrifice other things on that other end. And I don't think you're willing to sacrifice all the vanity projects that you have going on with the making appearances of the Met Gala or probably going to making appearances wherever on a red carpet, a ball game, be it basketball, football, baseball, whatever. If you're going to be doing that, or any kind of charity events, or you're filming your reality show, or starring in a movie or a TV show, you're not willing to put all that to the side for law. She's clearly not, because if she was, then we wouldn't be seeing her out here as much. And she knows that if she steps away, that'll affect her business more so than the law thing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. The problem is that she went straight into law school and took the baby bar without any prerequisites. And I'm wondering if her celebrity had anything to do with, oh, yeah, you're just going to go in and take the baby bar straight through instead of really like taking time, bogging down and studying and taking the shit seriously. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Ryan Seacrest. So, child, he had the children gagging when they saw what he was out here looking like. So, yeah, the other day we talked about Randy Jackson made an appearance on American Idol, and they were talking about how he looks frail physically and the way he was coming across and talking. He sounded like he was a little tired, whatever the case was. Well, I'm going to try to tread lightly because, the other day when I was talking about who was it? Randy Jackson, the other R. Randy Jackson, I started coughing profusely. So I want them trying to put roots on me with Ryan Seacrest, or is that only pertain to when you talk about black folk, that you end up with the roots on the throat. But anyway, so Ryan sparked fresh health concerns following his appearance at a charity event this past weekend, meaning, fans was doing a double take on his different look. The Child, they say he's 51. The 51-year-old American Idol host had already raised eyebrows after looking noticeably thinner following Wheel of Fortune co-host Vanna White's surprise wedding in January. On Friday, the TV star sparked fresh chatter at the ninth annual UCLA Johnson Cancer Center Foundation's Taste for a Cure Gala, which follows remarkable which followers remarking he looks almost unrecognizable. One critic didn't hold back, posting, "The fuck happened to his face?" beneath footage of an interview Seacrest gave to Pause Rewind at the event. Meanwhile, one fan wondered, did he get a lash lift? Not a lash lift. Is that a thing? A lash lift, while another shot back, he got an everything lift. Is that what y'all calling it? Because that don't look like he got a lift. Word on the street is Ricky Martin got a lift too, but that's money well spent because he still look young, or I should say youthful. Now, another comment to his face makes me feel uncomfortable. That's I was gonna say somebody else's face make you feel uncomfortable. And one more pleaded, can we all just start aging naturally, please? Yeah, tell that to them folks in Hollywood. They ain't gonna believe that. The Daily Mail, they said, reached out to Seacrest reps for comment. Now in January, some wondered whether Seacrest had joined the ranks of celebrities using Ozempic or other popular weight loss drugs after a viral Wheel of Fortune video was shared on Instagram. Seacrest's startling new look comes hot on the heels of a surprising love life confession dropped right in the middle of a Wheel of Fortune episode. Now, during Marches in the Air special, which couples battled it out on the long running game show, Seacrest turned to the cameras and revealed that he's been swiping on Tinder nearly 2 years after his split from model RHOBH. "I love Love is in the Air," he joked, adding, "and I'll be on Tinder tonight so I can find it." Well, good for you. Um, huh, I was thinking this. I was like, okay, well, I was gonna say that it looked like we got AIDS, yeah. But mostly in Hollywood, and y'all know that Ryan Seacrest was a former fat kid. He talked about this in interviews. We've seen pictures of him when he was younger. He was a porker. And we just saw like he lost all that weight when he was on American Idol. And when you're young and you're agile and all this stuff, you can keep all that up for a long period of time. But once you start to get older, like he's 51 now. A lot of these celebrities out of here are just using these rich, quick, well, not even rich, but these quick weight loss situations where it's like, okay, I'm gonna start taking the Manjaro, the Ozempic, I'm gonna start, doing all those things so that way I can keep my svelte figure. And it's unfortunate that this is what a lot of celebrities, especially in the likes of women and men, have to resort to instead in order to maintain a certain figure about themselves or an appearance. So it's sad to hear this. I hope he's not out here um doing those drugs or whatever the case was, because Ryan, you looked fine before. And so what if you got a little fat in your face? The one thing I don't like about these things, because that'd be a fear of mine if I ever decided to be like, let me take the Manjaros and the Ozempics and stuff. If it's gonna give like the side effects, like your face is all sunken in, I wouldn't even want to be I wouldn't want to be running around looking like that, and y'all thinking that shit is attractive. It's like you literally out here looking like the male equivalent of Kelly Osbourne right now. So then they start getting his past relationship with Julianne Hough and Aubrey Page and blah blah blah, so on and so forth. We don't pretty much care about all that, so we just gonna move on. So yeah, I hope or look, I hope it's not a situation where I'm gonna feel bad, and I'm like, child, what if they say that Ryan got the big C, and he not willing to talk about it, and then I'm gonna feel bad later on, like around the time when people started speculating about Chadwick Boseman, and he was sick. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Ryan Seacrest shocking his own people or people online over his gaunt new look? It's over there at American Idol. They had Randy Jackson, now him. Don't Paula, don't start getting in that mess. And you already see how crazy Simon looked with all that damn fill in his face. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Belcalis Almanzar out here suing Miss Latasha Kebe because Miss Thing can't keep her goddamn mouth closed when it comes to anything pertaining to her and Offset. And that is one of the reasons why she is coming for her, because she was out here talking about off sheets gambling. And she was like, ma'am, in the contract, it says you cannot mention anything about anybody in my cipher. Meaning you can't talk about me and you can't talk about my husband, who she is technically still married to, even though she was out here messing with Stephon Diggs. And speaking of Stephon Diggs, I guess congratulations to him because he won that case against that chef that accused him of assault, whatever the case was. It came out that apparently they was hunching. So I don't even know if, I mean, while before he even hired her, I don't know if that was during his relationship with Cardi, but we did see that he had a whole bunch of kids while Cardi was pregnant with her fourth child and her one with him. And so he out here being messy, laying alone and spreading it wide. And then it was a story. I think they dropped the case, or she lost the case, and he won the case because there was allegedly, according to her, he wanted to settle this whole situation with $100,000. I wouldn't have. I'd be like, "No, bitch, we going to court because what you're not going to do is run up out here and." But this is according to her. That's not what he says. So $100,000 to make it all go away. Her lawyers apparently hit him up and said, "No, we want $5.5 million." That was brought up in the case in the courtroom with her. She was up in there, shot, eyes popped out of her head like Wendy Williams and stuttering and all that other mess. And she got caught out there. And so now your own attorneys are trying to pull a blackmail fast one where they want to get 5.5, damn near $6 million out of somebody just to make a story go away when I was allegedly going to give you $100,000. You're a fool. So, and they should have had that conversation before they got the gotcha moment. Stephon's attorney got the gotcha on her ass. So now she out here in the weeds going to have to figure out how she going to have to pay them lawyer fees because I know she ain't got it, allegedly. So in this, speaking of people who allegedly ain't got it, because she claims she don't got it, but you better find it, sis. And I don't mean just going around trying to do GoFundMe's or begging Nicki Minaj to throw a little money in your direction so that way you can help pay these lawyer or not the lawyer fee, but pay Cardi. And I said this from the beginning. If someone's going to continuously harass somebody, even though in a case they said you ain't supposed to be talking about, why don't you take her damn channel? You still letting her rock over here with this foolishness. Because all she do is pay people to do interviews and lie, which in so many ways she makes a lot of she makes a lot of us look bad. Not me, because I do what I do over here. I speak on the stories at hand. I give my opinion and I move on to the next thing. I'm not running around here trying to get a viral moment where I need to make things up. I need to hit up some person who allegedly has sour grapes with a certain celebrity because you're in loyalty to a different celebrity and they making up lies and all this other stuff. And then you go viral and you got a lot of people watching your channel. And yeah, that's all cute, whatever, because the winos are sipping and eating it up and blah, 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 blah. But now all you end up stuck with is a lawsuit while they sit up there watching all of this shenanigans unfold. But you stuck with a lawsuit. You getting sued. You having to pay all this money. Is it worth it? Just wondering. But apparently it must be because you keep poking the bear. And Cardi said, I'm tired. She getting tired of your shit. And so now she taking her ass back to court. So Cardi B is asking a bankruptcy court to step in after she claims Tasha broke their settlement agreement while discussing Offset's alleged gambling debt. Now, according to a new court filing submitted on Monday, May 4th, and reviewed by Complex, the rapper, born, now you want me to say her name again, Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar, claimed the blogger, real name Latasha. Now I see why she hates trans people. Her name is Trans Rena. Now I see why you don't like the trans girls. So I'm gonna start calling her Trans Rena. Um, emphasis on the trans. Has continued to violate a non-disparagement clause, which forbids her from saying negative things about Cardi, her family, either directly or indirectly. The Am I the Drama rapper is specifically pointing to a recent live stream where Tasha mocked Cardi's estranged husband, Offset, and made insinuations about his alleged gambling issues. Now saying Offset works at the casino. He's down there 5 times a week, clocking in. Some days he works first, second, and third shifts, and he uses everyone else's money to gamble with. This is what she said, per the document. She said, I was told, and that is literally what she said because I seen the clip. So they was like, they took everything word for word and put it in the document. So she said, I was told he would probably still be in a certain relationship if he wasn't gambling away all that money, which we talked about that the last time. And that's implying that he would still be in a relationship with Cardi and probably would be gambling away her money because we know quiet as is kept, Cardi is the breadwinner. Cardi is worth, I would say, about $100 million. Offset ain't worth that kind of money. I mean, nobody's really checking for him like that. But Cardi was always the bigger artist because she's getting on the endorsement deal. She's got a lot of people who like working with her. So the clause was also part of a deal tied to Tasha's bankruptcy case and a previous defamation judgment in which she was offered to pay Cardi nearly $4 million in 2022. And now Cardi's previously agreed to pause collecting that money only because Tasha accepted the restriction on disparaging comments. Well, she agreed to it, and then a couple of days later, it's like she probably her mind went bad and she forgot. Well, sometimes you got to remind these hoes. Yeah, but you agree now. You're gonna go renege on the agreement. But that's why I don't understand why you continue to do this stuff because your fans aren't gonna help bail you out of this mess. They're entertained by the shenanigans. So now her latest filing argues that the court made it clear she had to comply with the terms of her bankruptcy plan, and that failure to do so could lead in a case being dismissed. Her legal team also said that the purpose of the agreement was simple to help ensure payment of the judgment and the non disparagement clause serving as a key condition. Despite this, Cardi claims Tasha has continued, making statements that violate the agreement. Even when Cardi is not mentioned by name, she alleges that Tasha uses indirect references and coded language and does about her and her family and online content that draws attention and generates revenue. To further demonstrate bad faith, Cardi alleges that Tasha falsely claimed to the court that she was current on all her bankruptcy plan payments, which she was, when in reality she was late and failed to submit a required quarterly operating report on time. She also pointed out that last month Tasha publicly told her viewers that she's not bound to a non-disclosure agreement at all, which we know is a lie. And then they sent her a cease and desist, and she said that I'm gonna wipe my ass with it. So she said that on the camera. Receipts don't lie. When y'all say things, people can go back to the source of the situation and bring it up when y'all have y'all when your mind go back. When you have a little case of early dementia and you start forgetting shit. We got the internet that'll remind you of what you said on this day and date. Me at being a Virgo, we keep everything up here. I can remember, I can pull out a receipt from 3 years ago on the day and the date and say, this is what you said. We hold grudges over here. And when we need to pull out a receipt, we'll pull it out. So in response, Cardi's team tells the court that despite Tasha's delusional belief that the law does not apply to her, willful violations of court orders must have consequences. Per the document, it said Tasha has previously argued that the clause violates her First Amendment rights and restricts her free speech. She also claimed that removing posts after being warned shows she is making a good faith effort to comply. And then I saw this post that T.S. Madison, since we talking about trans people and people that Tasha don't like, T.S. Madison posted this tweet where it said Tasha had lost another lawsuit against Cardi B with a judge ordering her to pay the full $4 million awarded to Cardi in 2023. The ruling also includes a restraining order completely banning the blogger from speaking about Cardi or anything connected to the A-list rapper. So I guess you can't even talk about Stephon or any person she gets in a relationship with. So now they said Cardi disputes that by saying the issue was not free speech, but enforcement of a private agreement that was voluntarily entered into. She also accuses Tasha of improperly relying on a specific provision that only grants a 48-hour window to delete any violating content if they involve Cardi's family members who are unknown to the general public. Through her legal counsel, the rapper argues that deleting posts after they have already been viewed and monetized does not undo the violation, but instead reflects an ongoing pattern of conduct that still benefits the blogger. Cardi also raised concerns about Tasha's legal filings, accusing her attorneys of citing a fabricated case of misrepresenting real legal decisions in their arguments. Specifically, she notes that the hallucinated case is named Doe v. Gonzalez, while also claiming Tasha's legal team used a fake quote attributed to the real case, McGregor versus Cherico. Now, saying using fake and hallucinated cases casts a shadow on invalidity. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. On the judicial process that causes the public to question the commitment to truth and justice, which is particularly odious. Lawyers who fail to check the accuracy of the information in their beliefs should be held accountable, argued Cardi's lawyers in the following. They continue to say Ms. Almanzar does not presume to know whether this citation was generated, though through AI assistance without adequate verification, copied from a secondary source, or introduced through some other mechanism. Now, her legal team is asking the court to order Tasha K to delete all prohibited content, schedule a hearing to award attorney's fees, establish monetary sanctions for any future violations, and issue sanctions against the blogger and her counsel for submitting fake legal citations. So I just don't understand, girl. If somebody ever came at me, a celebrity, and I was talking about a bunch of stuff, if I would have did what Tasha did, and I got hit with a cease and desist, whatever case, and people say, I wish you would just stop talking about me, whatever case. Okay, you got it. It ain't worth it. I'm like, there's so many other things I could be talking about. There's so many other things I can give commentary on. It's not worth it that, but I just, to risk having to lose what I built because of my damn ego. And that's what it is. This is a whole ego show. She's mad because Cardi got one over on her and she can't take it. But if it's worth you continuing to try to double down on the bullshit just so that way you can prove, yeah, I'm that bitch or whatever the case is. But all it is you're still winding up down this rabbit hole of I'm being dragged back to court. I'm gonna get sued again. Now I gotta pay the full amount. Like when is the bottom of this situation? Just let it go. You can't talk about Cardi. Okay, there's other people you could be out there talking about, but when a lot of you bloggers pigeonhole yourselves to only talking about a certain niche of celebrities, y'all stuck you backed yourself into a corner. Me, I talk about everything and everybody on this show, which is why I'm able to continue to progress and move on with doing what I'm doing. But when you picture yourself to only talk about a small niche of people and a small demographic, yeah, you get a lot of hits, but now you pigeonholed yourself. So when you try to evolve, you can't do that. But good luck to you, niece, because auntie, because you can't be a niece, you older. So yeah, good luck to you on this mess. But one of these days you're gonna learn, but I just don't. Or maybe she'll never learn because when the ego is doing what it do, they apparently they never learn until they just lose everything, and even then she'll still be trying to save face. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Tasha K out here still being a damn fool and Cardi refusing to take her foot off that lady neck? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Hello, love story. Paul Thomas Kelly was asked, "What's his favorite Beyonce song?" He said, I'm a metalhead. The gay guy read him at the Met Gala. Said to his face, such a straight guy. How did a straight guy answer? First of all, the Beehive is fucking dumb. Y'all can go play in traffic, and because that's his middle name. Um, it's a middle name. I mean, that's his opinion. And yes, people need to realize because one of the things I hate about people is this generalization of stereotypes. Not every gay guy listens to Madonna, Britney, Kylie, Beyonce, all of that stuff. So how is that a straight guy answer? There are literally guys out here who just do regular boring shit, go to work, they like their masculine whatever whatever, they listen to heavy metal, they're not into the whole dance thing, and they just so happen that I'm attracted to someone of the same sex. But because we don't see those type of people represented, then you're gonna shit on him and make comments like that. It's just like whoever the person that said that, boy, go play in traffic. Uh-huh. You said trans do Maddie and Craig know about this? Probably not, but I need y'all to start calling. The next time they get on that, you need to start calling her Trans Rena because allegedly that's her real name. I've been wondering why Tasha K still has a channel. Once her lack in integrity got exposed, her fans should have. That's what I said. I still don't understand. The minute you, and I say this as somebody who does commentary, or if you're a pundit or whatever, the minute you start to lose the trust of your audience, that's it. The minute you start to prove that you lack credibility, that should be it. But there are people that will stick around with somebody based off of their distinct hate for that same person because they have common ground that they share, that they're willing to be in the cult with that person until the wheels fall off. But I'd have bailed on that along. Like the minute I lose, or if I'm watching somebody and you say something and you no longer lack when you start lacking credibility, I can't 110% be behind you anymore. So I don't understand. Or maybe that's just me. So after all this, anyone that goes to Tasha K to spill tea is only exposing both their mental and social illness. Which fan base is worse? Well, you could probably say both. But honestly, based on even some of them still being in the cult after she went MAGA, I would say that probably the Barbs. Paul is handsome, couldn't care about the lashings though. Yeah, I know some gays who are super into alternative music and not pop girl. Yeah, I know. I even one of my friends, Angel, is like that. He's not into. He calls like the child. I'ma tell it because you know that's what I do on the show. He calls like the type of music that Beyonce and them make. He calls it catch up. He said, "Oh, that's catch up music." So, but he loves Susie and the Banshees. Like he's into. That's the type of music he's into. He's like an alternative Hispanic dude. So that's his thing. Or Nina Hagen and stuff like that. So that's his bag. And people need to realize that, yeah, not everybody is into pop divas. And we need to be okay with that. Like, yeah, there are gays that like, I mean, we got Rob Halford from Judas Priest, who's a metal singer and is openly gay. So, yeah, there are gay men that exist in music that like music that's not pop music or dance music. I like all types of music too. We talk about it on the show. I don't just listen to Madonna and Beyonce and stuff. All right, so now how many more topics we have? Okay, we got a couple more. Um, we got about five more topics. All right, so let's talk about Dave Chappelle. So, Dave Chappelle is out here yet again because I think he has a comedy special that started was it yesterday? I think it was because it said, oh wait, it might be today. I'll get into it in a second when it gives me the actual exact dates. But I think he's doing like this 3-day comedy thing with Netflix. I mean, of course he is. What else are you going to do with Netflix? Has pretty much been keeping him paid for a minute. But of course now he's still on the whole trans joke thing and making a bunch of damn excuses because I believe he sat down with I think it might have been Variety or whatever. But anyway, let's get into the tape. So the five-time Grammy-winning comedian recently claimed the media has gotten his jokes wrong and not allowed for nuance in his coverage of the backlash to his previous stand-up specials, urging viewers to allow a margin of error. And then he said, people would think it's me versus the gay community. I never looked at it like that, he explained on the In My Opinion, well, they call it IMO, but it's In My Opinion, podcast with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. It's funny how you talk about the trans thing when there's been so many people running around here saying Michelle Obama is a trans woman, which we know she's not, but I'm just saying. I always thought it was corporate interest and culture negotiating itself. So, most of those people who were critical of what I was doing didn't seem like they were of it. It's like they had their faces pressed against the glass, commenting on what we were doing in there, but they weren't in there doing it. He said every opinion you could think of is represented in a comedy club. Every type of person you can imagine does stand up comedy, trans stand up comics, black, white, Asian, every kind of perspective. And we all champion whatever opinion we champion. We would never think to silence one another. I'm still starting to think he's really not getting it. And it wasn't just people that were pressing their face up against the window on the outside looking in and making comments on things they didn't understand. We all have eyes and ears. A lot of the people that were complaining watch your specials on Netflix and were complaining over the trans jokes. Now, as have always stated, I'm an equal opportunity offender. I say offensive shit on this show in jest. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm not saying it to be hateful. I also love an offensive joke, but it's got to be set up in a way where it is funny. It's got to be clever. You can't just come out and be like them effing trannies or whatever. Oh, I hate trannies. Or, you know, some of the because I be hearing some of these jokes and I be like, and it be homosexual people up in there making them joke, and I be looking at them like, really? And you a whole bald headed dyke up there making that joke, and that's supposed to be funny. Like you couldn't even set it up well enough for me to laugh. You just doing this at the behest of these white folks that live out in, because I'm talking about New York, because I had to deal with this at one of the stand-up specials. There was a black lesbian that got her ass up on that stage, started making jokes about the trans, and I'm sitting there looking at her like, bitch, you couldn't even set that shit up to be funny. Like you doing this at the behest of a bunch of white people that came in from Long Island, Staten Island, and fucking Connecticut that came over here to come at the garden and hear these jokes, and you thinking you eating when you're not funny. So it's always a way of like how you say it and how you set it up. Because, like I said, I love a funny offensive joke. You got to be clever in the offensiveness behind it. I'm not one of those people like, oh, you can't think of joke, or it always comes from a place with some of these comedians that is like, oh, I'm not gonna let people tell me what I can and cannot say. Freedom of speech, and because things work the way that they work back then, and realizing that the times is different because of social media and things. We didn't have that back then. When you can be in a comedy club and test out jokes, do all these other things, and people weren't up in arms about it. Also, I'm not trans, so I can't really speak on the community. I mean, I have trans friends, but if they're feeling a way about stuff, they have a right to feel how they feel. And if you want to stand 10 toes down on saying what you want to say and continue to do what do, you continue to do it. You continue to stand 10 toes down on them trans jokes, but you need to live with the consequence and the things that you put out there and stop getting on these little podcasts and whining and bitching and complaining. Now, if the Obama's supposed to be all about the LGBTQ community, as these Democrats, these corporate centrist Democrats always try to act like they are, I hope that she did there at least was a little pushback or maybe some understanding on maybe you should probably see why people are feeling the way that they feel about a lot of the jokes that you're doing in your comedy specials are always teetering towards being perceived as anti-trans. I mean, maybe that should be the conversation that is also should be had. So the Chappelle Show alum also explained that when performing in a comedy club, those kind of differences are talked through with fellow comedians after the set, but he claimed having his jokes published by media outlets took out the context. Now, he said nothing makes a comedian madder than reading his joke wrong in the paper, and reading a joke is nothing like hearing one or being one. And the intention of a comedy show is a very unique intention. We are playing with whatever the culture is made of, and we break it down and we get it right or we get it wrong. But in all art, if it's going to be good or even hopefully great, you got to have a margin of error. So yeah, he is true with that. But I do agree with like sometimes the media does hype things up and they will twist words or they will say things. And a lot of times you can't get nuance from reading an article and being like, this is the joke. And I'm like, that's not funny. But when you watch the special and you hear how they deliver it, and he's setting it up in a way where it's like, oh, I'm getting where you're coming from with that. That's different than somebody just going in and just, I'm going to say the derogatory thing like what killed Tony and a lot of that stuff is about. I want to say the derogatory thing because I want to be I'm Mr. Badass, and I'm just gonna go and say the most offensive shit just to see how far I could push the button. But there's been no real setup to being of telling the offensive joke. There's levels when it comes to the comedy. It's like with me, I'm not somebody who is considered a comedian. I say funny shit, and y'all be up in here laughing. But there's different ways of being a comedian and telling the joke and stuff. Sometimes it come naturally. Some people just got to write things down and do whatever they do. Me, I just come off the dome with stuff and just if it land, it land. If it don't, it don't. We move on. So, but then again, I guess they feel like just like how I was watching someone what was it, Killjoy Jake, and he was giving his opinion on the whole Melissa Barrera situation. And he was like, you know what, as a white pasty male, that was his words. He said, I can't, I don't, I'm not, he gave his little opinion, but he said, I shouldn't be speaking on what it's like for a woman of color, because yes, Melissa Barrera is Mexican. Why I can't speak on a woman of color's experience in Hollywood. Same thing with Dave Chappelle. You are a black cis male, heterosexual, I would assume. You can't be speaking on a demographic that you don't know anything about. But maybe a trans comedian could, because once upon a time they were perceived as a cis male before they decided to transition to female. So who knows? It always it's all about nuance, is what I always try to say. So in regards of, and you know what, Netflix has given him many of specials where he's talked about trans stuff, which would be Sticks and Stones in 2019, The Closer in 2021, The Dreamer in 2023, and Unstoppable in 2025. So you did 4 specials where you talked about trans people. What does that say? Excuse me. So now he performs from oh, so it starts today, May 7th, the 7th to the 9th at the Hollywood Palladium as part of Netflix is a Joke Fest. So that's what he's currently going to be doing. And I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear what y'all think about this story, especially like with the trans community. How do y'all feel about what Dave Chappelle's been saying? And he says that, do you feel like that the media is getting his trans jokes wrong? I mean, I don't think you should be so focused on what the media thinks. I think you should probably be trying to understand what the community feels in regards of the jokes, and where, like, in your heart, where are you coming from with these jokes? Is it in jest? Is it because that you got a deep hatred for the trans community? Like, I don't know where your heart lands in regards of, or you just feeling like it's just jokes. I'm a comedian, I should be able to tell the jokes that I'm telling, blah blah, you know, that shit they always like to say. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Ew, hold on. Mhm. They don't even go to Pride because they feel not wanted or part of the community. Well, yeah, and quiet as it's kept, Pride is very segregative gated. I used to do Pride when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, especially like the main one in New York, we have so many. We have Queens Pride, we have Brooklyn Pride. I only go to Queens Pride because my former job, ACQC, are sponsors. They're a part of it. So I don't know if I'm going to be going this year. I might go to Queens Pride, and it's nice and it's intimate, and I know the people there. So I do Queens Pride. Brooklyn Pride I don't go because that's the lesbians. They all took that over. So let the Bulldaggers have they one little, situation. I don't do Bronx Pride, although I have been invited by Apollonia Cruz. She wanted me to come. I don't know. We might have to discuss this year. But yeah, so we have Bronx Pride. We got a bunch of prides and stuff. I don't do the main one because it's too big, it's overwhelming. They always want to try to treat us like cattle. We gotta go this way. You can't go this way. There's too many people, so much bullshit, too much drama. I'd rather just not be under all that stress and dealing with all the crap that's down there and trying to maneuver through all those damn people. So I don't really do the main one. And so, yeah, it's I feel, yeah. So and also there's a lot of segregation that happens. It's like I feel like there's a lot of people who don't feel like that they're a part of the community or they belong. There's a lot. It's just too much that's going on with that. We got a lot of work to do on making our community better than what it is. Even if you're alternative, here's things you can't escape. I don't like Taylor, and I'm forced to hear her songs. So of course people are gonna read into that answer. Not Alexa play Gaslighter. Candace can't. Ew. We don't care about that bitch. But I guess congratulations to her. There is an idea that if you poke fun at every single type of person, you're not phobic. That mindset can only go so far till you're met with consequence from the communities. Yeah, because they try to get away from it. It's like, yeah, I'm an equal opportunity offender, so I can't be I can't be trans. I talk about everybody. I haven't talked about my own people. So it's like, whatever. Pete Davidson made 9/11 jokes, I think, and his father died in the attack, but some people might find it offensive. Well, I guess maybe he feels like I could speak about it because, yeah, my father died at 9/11 during on 9/11, and that's if like me on a deeper level, I look at it as like that's him working through the trauma of losing his father on 9/11. So I'm gonna tell jokes because through pain comes laughter. A lot of comedians come from a dark place of pain, like a lot of comedy comes from from a dark side of of how you feel pain wise and all that other stuff. So him talking making 9/11 jokes, I guess we feel like, oh yeah, he can say that because that's his experience. He understands that world, therefore he could talk about it. And I think there are some people who feel like they can just talk about whatever. I say, no, you can't. Not in this day and age. Oh, you remind me. Let me go and request time off for Pride. I refuse to work. I think I worked one time when I was in Shake Shack during Pride. Oh, child, it was the best. I was like, you don't want to be dealing with a lot of people on that day. It'd be crazy busy. He said, plus it's homophobic for me. Okay. He said, it's homophobic. How dare you make me work on Pride? Humor can definitely help with trauma. Absolutely. And I think a lot of times that's what people usually work through when it comes to that. So um there's that. Because a lot of times I use laughter to get through a lot of dark times. But anyway, y'all, we down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four topics of the day, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. But also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats, super stickers. You can hype the channel, share the channel amongst your people, help get those algorithms up, help get those numbers up. We're almost at 4K. We're the little engine that could. This small little channel is growing by the minute, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate all y'all that continue to come in and support this messy ass show. So, without further ado, I guess we can give a huge shout out to Miss Hayden Panettiere, who's publicly come out as bisexual in her upcoming memoir. So, Miss Thing, who we love from shows like Heroes, she plays Kirby Reed. Speaking of which, we need Kirby Reed back in a new Scream verse. But I remember her when she was on One Life to Live, when she was this big. So Hayden been around a long time. So after previously being afraid to talk about her sexuality, Panettiere decided to speak out about being bisexual in This Is Me, A Reckoning, which will be released on May 19th per an exclusive interview in Us Weekly. She said, there's something about me I was never able to share with the world because it was just never the right time. This is what she told Us Weekly of her sexuality. She said it was either I was too young and I was being forced to be perfect all the time. I was not encouraged to just be myself. Then came a period where it felt like people coming out, especially women, saying that they were bisexual or like girls was a fad. She also added that she was afraid that if she were honest about her sexuality, it would seem like she was jumping on the bandwagon. Saying, I wanted to make sure that I really sat down and chose my words carefully and was able to tell my story in an honest way that people understood. On one hand, it's sad that I had to wait until I was 36 years old to share that part of me, but better late than never, right? And Panettiere said, talking about her bisexuality with Us Weekly was the first time I got to say it out loud. Though she noted that she has never fallen in love with a woman, she shared that she has dated a few. She said it was scary, though, because there were paparazzi always waiting for me outside to follow me everywhere. I had very little privacy. I have dated women. I was much more into women even as a child than I was men. I have explored it, but because I hadn't shared this with anybody, I didn't really have the courage to throw myself fully emotionally into it. Because then, if I did fall in love, that wasn't something that I wanted to ever have to hide. So, with her coming out and saying this, I feel like well, now that you've come to this revelation, well, not now to come to, well, I guess it is now coming to the revelation. You can feel free that if a woman does come along that you fall head over heels in love with, you can really dive into that and explore that. And I think that would be great for you, especially because she also talks about dating Milo Ventimiglia, which she was, I believe, 18 and he was 30. So we got another Demi Lovato Wilma of all the Rama type situation going on with these grown ass men who should know better out here dating these young girls. But I guess they feel like they're mature and all this other stuff that they can do their relationship. She also talked about being a mother and how her postpartum depression basically made her a lousy mom and some sort. That's not the word she used, but she was just talking about how like she couldn't be a fully present mother when she was dealing with her postpartum depression, which we all knew that she was going through that and all that other stuff. And I wonder if she's going to talk about her relationship with Vladimir Klitschko, because wasn't he like she in an abusive relationship with him allegedly? So it'll be interesting to hear what she talks about in there. But yeah, she talks about her experiences with a stalker, postpartum depression, and things of that nature. So, but yeah, but I totally agree with her on the whole thing about I was afraid to come out as bisexual because a lot of people looked at it as a fad. And that was kind of like what people were treating it as. Hollywood likes to look at things when people come out and say they're part of the community or whatever, it's a fad. It's it's being performed, you're doing it for attention, whatever the case is. And not a lot of time that do be true with some of these people. Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga, who run around here claiming that they bisexual, but you ain't never seen them with a damn woman. But they'll sit up in here trying to do that to get points for the community. And so I'll be looking at them and side eyeing them, or Katy Perry saying she kissed a girl and she liked it. I'm like, bitch, you ain't never kissed no girl. You kissed one on the cheek, but you was up there doing that because it'd be cute to come out and write a little tight ass song so you can go viral and become famous, which it did work for that point, for that period. But I ain't will never believe that mess. So but then when people actually are going through those feelings and trying to exercise those feelings, whatever the case is, then it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to jump on a bandwagon, so I'm going to work it out and figure it out and take it from there. So congratulations to you, Hayden. I'm glad that you finally came to terms with your sexuality. And I'm sure, these straight men who hope that they can get a threesome going will be loving this, but that's not why these girls be doing what they doing, not to feed y'all little perverted ass ego. So shout out to you, Miss Thing. So yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Hayden coming out as bisexual in her new book? And I think that's the perfect place to come out as bi is in your new book, because it allows you to get your story out there and say what needs to be said without people coming in and putting words in your mouth or whatever the case is, or try to make you feel like that you're jumping on some bandwagon as you was afraid that that might happen. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, maybe you should kill it. I said, not Kyrie is bi. You said biphobia is very real. I still haven't come out to my mother because she is still conservative, but all my friends know. I do believe that your sexuality can change with age. Yes, absolutely. And do you think that Portia is bisexual, or you think she doing this as a stunt for the housewives? Because there, I do believe that, in the words of my girl Bevy Smith, it does get greater later. But I also do feel that sexuality evolves. There are people that don't explore different sides of themselves, and later on in life, they come to terms with, maybe I do like girls, or if you're a guy, I like girls who've dated girls your whole life, but it's like I like having sex with men. Having sex with men is fun. And I do feel like we need a lot more people out here who, if you have it in you, to break those stigmas. So I do agree with that. Yes, biphobia is very real, because there's a lot of people that come out here and be like, you're not bisexual. You're just saying that because you don't want to come out as fully gay. And it's like, sorry, you don't live in this body. You don't get to tell me that what I like, because you don't know me like that. So I said Ida Hayden with the red hair. Are you saying you like her with the red hair? I need her in a Scream movie. She was in Scream 5. Wait, Scream 6. Y'all wasted her in that. I hated that wig y'all had her in too. The best look, I loved her as Kirby Reed, of course. I liked her with the short hair in Scream 4. I definitely like that look on her. All right, y'all. So now let's get into this mess. Let's talk about Mia Starr. So Mia Starr recently did an interview. Well, she did an interview with Mistress Isabel Brooks. I did watch that full interview, had me cackling. And I did post the video of her and Mistress on my website. I should have probably posted the link in the description as well. But she also did an interview with Entertainment Weekly. So I'm gonna play y'all the clip, of her talking about Jennifer Lopez, which I'm like, another one confirming that that's a miserable ass fucking woman. That's why she can't keep no damn man. And the only people that tolerate is the damn twins. So and Stevie Mackey, who I still believe is just robbing her blind, because I don't know how all these years you've been her vocal coach and she still sound the way she sound. And who else? Benny Medina, because who else he representing out there manager wise? So Mia Starr did an interview, both with Entertainment Weekly, and she did an interview with um that other thing. What did I say? Oh, Mistress. I said that other thing. So anyway, yeah, they did a interview together, and Mia was spilling some tea on her experience working with Jennifer, and it wasn't pleasant, according to her. So, as Mia Starr previously told Entertainment Weekly before, that she was a RuPaul's Drag Race season 18 fan favorite queen. So it wasn't Vita, but in here was that she's the fan favorite. The superstar dancer worked on stage with industry legends like Britney Spears and Rihanna. Now, after initially recounting her experience on fellow Drag Race alum Mistress Isabel Brooks' YouTube show, Mia opened up to EW about what she says was an uncomfortable gig as a backup dancer for Jennifer Lopez's 2020 Super Bowl halftime show in Miami. She also said, yeah, Jennifer was her worst experience. Her best experience was with Britney, because she said that she was actually teaching Britney's sons how to dance. And then Britney was like, teach me. And then so Mia was giving Britney dance lessons, and there was footage of them dancing together. And then I believe that Britney's dancers actually took Mia on tour with them, or it's like, come with us, and they flew him on the plane, all this other mess. So he said that Britney was like one of his best experiences, which I've always heard that Britney's a sweet girl. Regardless of all the stuff that she's been going through, she's never been an asshole, and that's why I love even with something that Linda Perry said when she was, I think she was talking about a bunch of other celebrities or whatever, but she was talking about, yeah, Britney doesn't have the most spectacular voice, but she's a great performer. She works hard, and she's a sweet girl and all this stuff. And those should always count for something. But even when you're not the best singer in the world, which quiet as is kept, or is it really that quiet? Because that's all y'all be writing in the comments whenever it comes to Jennifer, that Jennifer is not the best singer. Child, I think a goat being strangled sound better than Jennifer with the lessons. So even if you're not the best singer in the world, you don't have to be a fucking bitch. And based off according to her, I'm not mincing words in this. That's the way she was being. So, in a new interview with EW, Mia looks back on the rehearsal period for the February 2020 performance, which saw Lopez take the Super Bowl stage alongside Shakira. Mia says that she took the job on a direct booking after the halftime show's choreographer reached out to her and offered her a spot without an audition. Already an experienced dancer, Mia says she quit her job at the casting team. And this was like, I think she said the casting team for The Voice, for reality competition series The Voice, and headed to rehearsals as one of Lopez's backup dancers. So I don't want to reread this because I believe that is in this actual clip that I have from Mia Starr. Hold on, because it's playing. So let me actually go to the clip, courtesy of the Tiki Talkie. And then we're gonna play it, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk. Please hold. Hold on. Because I was like, I gotta rewind her.
Experience that I've ever had. It was like a hazing. Oh yeah, baby. Tell the story. Back in 2020, I was doing the Super Bowl with J-Lo and Shakira, but I was J-Lo's dancer at the time, just for the Super Bowl. We were rehearsing. I was just coming from like casting for The Voice. So I was like in the office, working from home, like doing all that stuff. So I was eating, you know, because I do enjoy food. And then they called me. I quit The Voice and I was like, look, I just want to do the Super Bowl. I get there the second day of rehearsal. She looks at me. She tells me to take off my shirt. I was like, bitch, just me? I take off my shirt. She goes, she makes this face, followed by, guys, I need you to elevate yourselves. I need you to go to the gym and take care of yourself. I'm like, bitch, we got 3 months. I'm gonna snatch it back. Just give me a second. Then,
did you go eat that same night?
Always. But she then made us rehearse for the 9 hours shirtless. So as I'm dancing, I'm jiggling the fuck out of the entire 9 hours. It was like a hazing. Like I was like, why am I here? Why am I doing this to myself? And then the next day she ordered and rented a elephant ear truck and an ice cream truck, and I was the first person in line. And then she looks at me, actually I was being petty. I looked at her, I was like, thank you. And then she looks at me and gave, guys, I need you to elevate yourself. She hated me, I think.
That's crazy. It's are you a J-Lo fan?
Team Shakira all day.
Let me tell you something. J-Lo, I know you're watching J-Lo. You are a chopped ass hoe.
I would be in front of her and be like, damn, this bitch is gorgeous. But I would I work with her again? No. I was asked to come back for another gig and I said no. The worst experience that I've ever had. And that was the biggest bucket list check mark to have as a dancer. Yeah. And I was just like, I was doing the Super Bowl with J-Lo.
Mm-hmm. So, there you have it. I was like, yeah, I need to play that clip for y'all in regards to that whole situation so that way you can get what she had to say. But I'm like, But then she also went and said that Lopez, because this is a continuation. Now, this is the rest that's from the Entertainment Weekly article. So then they went on to say she claimed that Lopez would always come to rehearsals maybe the last 2 hours after we rehearsed for 8 hours of a 10-hour day, and she'd just be like, I hate it, and gave this big spiel, leading to changes on in the set, which Mia says are often a standard part of the rehearsal process. So yeah, there's always going to be things where they're putting something together for the artists to come in and look at and see what they've been doing, so that you can see the choreographer and the dancers and everything work things out, because they have to go and emulate that on the stage. I was like, no, I don't like it, and then come up with something else until it gets to their like, oh, change this, take this out, put this in, or maybe you could do this way. So it's always a collaborative effort. So she get a pass on that part. So um Lopez's portion of the Super Bowl show, which Shakira also included several child performers, and Mia maintains that Lopez was super sweet to the kids, yeah, because she don't want them parents cussing their ass out, but would always pretty much remind the adult dancers that we look like ish, which led to more changes in the set. She said that's the process of dancing and production. Things are always going to change, but I was reminded that we looked a mess. I'm busting my ass. My dream job wasn't what I expected, in the sense that this is the biggest moment of a dancer's career, and it felt like hell up until the point of the performance, with which she says Lopez was ultimately pleased. Now, further, Mia says that she wasn't aware of Lopez's 2022 Netflix documentary Halftime until she and the other dancers found out about it at the last minute, when they were allegedly asked to sign releases to appear in the film without pay. I was like, no, you didn't pay me through all of that. You didn't put me through all of that to not pay me. I didn't sign the paper. There were a few of us that didn't sign. They somehow found a loophole and still put me in it. After her team looked into the matter, the team that made the documentary sent her a $20 check as compensation. You know what I would have told her? Like Tasha K told Cardi B to wipe her ass. I'm wiping my ass with that season assist. I'd have wiped my ass with that 20 fucking dollars. Because how dare you, bitch? And I said it was so insulting. I told my agent, you know what? Actually, can you just please send this back? They clearly need it more than I do. I sent it back because it's super insulting. I just had to laugh at that point. I was like, this is unreal. Now, echoing a sentiment she previously expressed to EW in an interview tied to Drag Race Season 18. There's a couple stars that I will not dance for again, Mia said at the time. She clarifies now that she was indeed talking about Lopez in the moment. They asked me back for a random one off in Los Angeles, Mia says, and I said no. I was like, nope, no, 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 never, ever. EW reached out. Well, what is Lopez's reps going to say? I mean, of course they're going to deny it, but when you're known to be a notorious cunt, There's been so many ways this lady on the right has been trying to rehabilitate her career, and it's just not working. Why do you think none of y'all buy her music? There's very few that went to go see her Vegas residency. She can't even sell out arenas in the United States. She like the Pussycat Dolls. She got the red dot disease, where it's like y'all put up numbers for a tour. Ain't nobody going to see her unless it's overseas and a residency. But as far as like the rest of the world, don't nobody care about Jennifer because and she brought this upon herself. You could be the hardest working woman in the world, but you ain't got to be a nasty individual on top of that. Actually, have some sense of kindness, whatever. But I guess what it comes down to is that when people look better than you, when people are far more talented than you, she hates. That's why I said I will always, like in the words of Mistress, I'll be Team Mariah or Mia, Team Shakira. Because at least with Shakira working as hard as she does, we ain't heard her having a nasty reputation. And that's probably why they had to have her co-headline. Because Jennifer Lopez, ain't nobody gonna try to see her on no damn stage by herself. Now, in addition to dancing for Lopez, Spears, and Rihanna, Mia rose to further prominence in the entertainment industry as part of Drag Race Season 18 cast. On the most recent edition of the Emmy winning show, she finished in ninth place, though she counted major fan affection for her lip sync performance against Juicy Love Dion for Zara Larson's Pretty Ugly. The moment came after both queens. Okay, we don't need to get into details on what all of that was. And of course, then we have the Lollapalooza situation, which everybody was talking about. It was a setup for Juicy to win because the way they were trying to do the whole bracket thingy, whatever, with that, to have Mia and Juicy go up against each other for Juicy to be the winner of the whole Lollapalooza SmackDown for the Crown situation and all of that. But child, if you're going to talk about, I need you to elevate yourself. I need you to elevate yourself. I'd have like, bitch, I'm gonna elevate myself when you elevate them fucking vocals. How about that? So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Mia Starr telling her story? You know, I love a shady story. And one thing you will not do and come out alive is come at a queen because the queens will drag you by your scalp. Verbally, of course. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I love butch women. Okay. J-Lo and Madonna are both Leos, but only one of them is a real legend. Shakira will always be a Latin legend because so far I haven't heard any stories of her being a see you next Tuesday. Absolutely. Yeah, Madonna will work your ass off, but I ain't never heard no story. I mean, there's been things about like they always say she's a bitch, whatever. I think she's very demanding when it comes to her dancers and the work ethic and stuff, but she ain't out here, from what I've heard, personally trying to humiliate you. Oh, I need you to take your shirt off because you looking a little pudgy. Because we know probably Jennifer is somebody who's had to deal with, well, you need to lose weight and you need to do this, you need to do that because she was that curvy Latin woman. And there was always comments made about her butt and all this other stuff when she was coming. Like nobody ain't never seen a woman with a big old ass before. And so there's this always this maintaining of I have to look a certain way in order to be accepted. So now you putting that on other people. And you know if you do enough cardio and you work out and you dancing all the time, the weight is gonna come right off. But even then, if somebody's out there is a great dancer and they happen to be a little thick, I don't think you should be hating on them to have to maintain a certain aesthetic. So now she likes to fat shame people. And I'm sure she got I'm sure she has like a lot of big girl fans too. I wonder how y'all feel that she out here fat shaming her dancers. Y'all still fans? Yeah, she definitely has a strict work ethic. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to this homosexual news. And let's talk about heated rivalry. So apparently Hudson Williams and Connor Story were recently at the Met Gala together. Hated Hudson Williams's look. I did like the Connor Story top. I mean, even though it looked all regular, I didn't see fashion as art from neither one of them. Hudson out here looking like that little elf in Legend. If y'all seen the movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. The way they had the makeup and the hair and all the other stuff. I wonder if he had any glitter on his face too. But So yeah, so Hudson Williams, and then he was there. Connor's story had like this little sleeveless blouse on. The arm work was giving everything. I was like, show off your assets. Emphasis on the ass. But he mad at y'all because y'all keep trying to ship him and Connor, even though they're work buddies, they're good friends, and he's got a girlfriend. So Hudson Williams has called out fans for shipping him with his heated rivalry co-star Connor Storrie when he has a girlfriend. The actor, who made his debut at the Met Gala this week, took to threads to share his thoughts on the matter, writing, "RP Fing gotta stop y'all." RPFing. That's what it said. RPF, short for real person fiction, refers to the controversial fan practice of theorizing or fantasizing that two real people, such as celebrities, or are romantically involved with each other. Williams' comment came in response in a now deleted Threads post. The post featured a screenshot of a post shared to Instagram by Williams and himself at a Met Gala after party, which he had accompanied with the song Woo by Rihanna. The post also included a screenshot of the lyrics from the song with the caption, "Cause I'm totally fine." The lyric picture read, it said, "I bet she could never make you cry because the scars of your heart are all mine. Tell me that she couldn't get this deep. She can almost be the worst of me. Too bad she's just eating off your dreams. Let me know when you're really ready to bleed. Baby, you just need to send for me. Send for me." Are you talking about eating off your dreams? Are you trying to? Is this a read towards your own girlfriend? Like, what's the tea? Why'd you post that in there? So now, other Heated Rivalry fans were quick to call the fan out in the replies. He said, "Consent revoked, and everyone needs to respect that," one wrote. Another person said, "Standing up for himself and his girl and their relationship is yet another reason why this man is a walking green flag. Good for you for setting those boundaries." And it's sad that people have to set boundaries and you don't even know them. It's like, yeah, why do I have to set up boundaries for a group of people that, fucking strangers? I should be able to go off and do my own thing and live my life and all this other stuff without having to get on social media and say, "Can y'all stop trying to make me and Connor a thing?" Y'all got mad when Connor was hanging out with Francois, and Francois is bisexual in real life. He said this, so I'm not outing him. And y'all trying to, and the minute you see two cast members that's not Hudson and Connor hanging out, then y'all want to send death threats and all that. Like, get a life. Go outside and touch the grass. It is a lovely day in New York. Let me see what's the weather. 64 degrees, and it's about to go up. I think no, it's going down, Chair. But it's a lovely spring day in New York or wherever you at. If it's nice outside, go outside and touch that grass so you realize how real the world is and how there's some much important things you need to be out here doing than worrying about two celebrities you don't know and trying to get them to hunch. So that way you can have a great day going about yourself. Maybe you need to go out and get you a relationship instead of worrying about other people's relationship. Another added, "Not sure how many times you both have to say that men can be close and affectionate with other men without it being romantic before weirdos get it, TBH." The interaction also made its way to Heated Rivalry and Hudson Williams fans on X. Oh, sorry, Twitter, because we don't call it X over here. Made the mistake of checking out threads where they think Hudson and his girlfriend broke up so he could be with Connor. Other users lamented the fact that RPFing is now illegal. Apparently, Hudson Williams banned RPF. "It was a good 6 month run, y'all," one fan said. Yeah, okay, whatever. So, um, I do agree. We got to be out. I got to respect people's boundaries and stop trying to incorporate and indoctrinate your stuff on these people. So, shout out to y'all. I don't know if people will comply, but if they don't, go about your business. You got your girlfriend, focus on your relationship. Connor's out here doing him and whoever he wants to do or do him, who knows. But live your life. You put it out there, you set the boundary. However they take it, that's on them. You put it out there. As long as you put it out there in the universe, you set the boundary. That's all you can do. Now, whether or not people want to comply and follow along, that's another story. But you can't control the outcome of the situation. But as long as you put the boundary out there, you're good to go. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Hudson Williams having to unfortunately set boundaries with random weirdos on social media who are trying to push him in a relationship with a guy when he is in a happy long-term relationship with his girlfriend? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. A lot of fans have a hard time separating the actors from the characters, which is crazy to me. They give you the face and the soul for they give you the face and the soul for them, but that's it. This happens in other communities like the Cape. Oh yeah, there's a lot of that with them too. I mean, you would think that yeah, shipping happens usually with like when they do what Twilight and Harry Potter crossover or some shit like that. It's like yeah, but it's like these are real people. Yeah, out here thinking like heated robbery is a real thing. It's not. It's a TV show. Okay, so now let's get into our final topic. And let's talk about Sam Smith because they are engaged. They found love in a hopeless place. Well, the love in the hopeless place been happening for the past 3 years. But they confirmed it after apparently someone overheard at the Met Gala that Sam and their significant other, Christian Cowan, who is a fashion designer, um, we're talking about their engagement, their upcoming wedding. So the couple who attended the 2026 Met Gala together on Monday were overheard talking about their engagement at the Mark Hotel before walking the red carpet. Cowan accessorized his black couture Erte-inspired ensemble, which he designed along with the musician's matching getup, with a massive square yellow diamond ring on that finger, which were told is by Cartier. For what has been understood, it was a private engagement. Well, so from what I understand, it was a private engagement. Our hotel lobby spy told us they are over the moon, and from what I hear, so in love. A second source confirmed to us that they are indeed engaged. Now, Smith, who identifies as non-binary and uses they/them pronouns, posted about the duo's outfits on Instagram. Quoting Cowan, Smith captioned the carousel, "I've always loved Erte. I love the way he brought costume art to the world through the visionary illustrations. The infamous 1920s opulence and craft, 255,000 individual crystals and beads, 2,000 hours of artisanal hand sewing. This look is a love letter to the king of fashion, illustration, and to my love, Sam." Now, the Grammy winning singer, who's 33, and Cowan, who's 32, were first linked in December of 2022. There's a lot of twos up in here, Jay, when they watched then President Joe Biden sign into law the Respect for Marriage Act, which is RMA, at the White House. The RMA, which repealed the 1936 Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, ensures federal recognition of same-sex and interracial marriages. Now, Smith and Cowan, who are both UK natives, have since been photographed engaging in PDA in New York City, accompanying each other to tattoo appointments and attending numerous runway shows. The two made their red carpet debut as a couple in coordinating attire at the 2024 Met Gala and also attended the ball together that following year. So, congratulations to you, Sam. I'm glad you found love in a hopeless place. And I hope y'all make it down the aisle and I hope y'all make it last. So, on that note, what do you guys think of this story regarding hearing this news that Sam Smith is off the market? Well, has been for the past 3 years, but now they're making it official where they're about to go and get married to the love of their life, Christian Cowan, who is a well known fashion designer. Guess free clothes for the rest of your life. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I have not. I've been hearing so many things about it. Um, I've been hearing stuff about it. I don't know what it's about. I mean, I know Jamie Bell is in it, but is it worth watching? There's a lot of shows I got to catch up on. I still got to watch the last. What is it? There was 8 episodes to Daredevil. I got to watch the last 4 episodes of that season. I got to catch up on the boys. I haven't watched any of this final season. But I definitely want to catch that. They just dropped the new season of Citadel with Priyanka Chopra Jonas. I got to watch that. I just saw the trailer for the new Cape Fear with Javier Bardem. There's going to be a new show on Apple TV. I got to watch that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. There's so much stuff I got to catch up on, but I've been caught up in so much real life stuff. Me trying to watch these little YouTube videos or whatever. I've been neglecting watching the shows that I need to watch. But no, is Half Men worth watching? I mean, if it is a good show, I'll definitely check it out because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about this show. The new obsession. Mm-mm. What stands for ever sexy? Well, I mean, look, I always say, if you like it, I love it. Watched Hacks because my roommate was somebody who was big on Hacks. I never kept up with it, but from what I saw, it was cute. So yeah, I watched that. White Lotus. I kind of gave up on that after like season 2. So I don't be watching that. But yeah, Hacks, and I used to watch because Johnny Sibley was on there. So I need to catch up on that show. There's a lot of shows I gotta catch up on. But maybe if um not Sam has moments, Chad. The Sade of it all. Sam has his moments. But anyway, y'all. Okay, so we are down. We're at the end of the show today. Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Filtered. Hit that like button, that subscribe. Also, smash the notification bell so that when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm gonna try to slide in a show sometime this weekend. I ain't gonna be on tomorrow, but I'll try to see if I could. Oh wait, also I'm supposed to go see The Devil Wears Prada too with Sailor Mermaid. So, um, I'll see if I can try to slide in a show on Sunday because I think Monday is. So Monday and Tuesday might be busy because I think Bruce Springsteen has a show coming to the Garden on Monday, and I have to work that. So, um, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support of this messy show, and until next time, ciao, darlings.